Hello, this is Matt on the Moon Lambeau channel, a very popular chart analyst in the world of crypto who has a rather large YouTube channel, says that if certain levels are hit for XRP, there could be a path forward to a very high price level of roughly $28. And I want to share with you the specifics of what he had to say, and I'll provide a link to the video where he breaks this all down, because the video is like 15 minutes. I'm just going to provide a synopsis so you can understand the expectations. If you want to get into the nuts and bolts of why he believes what he does, I'm not going to sit here and rehash his video. I just want to share the ideas, because it certainly caught my attention, especially coming from a channel like his, which has a rather large following. And I tell you what, this guy, I've always considered him to be among the best of chart analysts. He'd be a top shelf analyst. He just doesn't post that frequently compared to many others in this space. So I want to share that. Also got some updates from a few analysts in terms of what to expect in the short term, and a warning, there may be some more downside before things get better. But before going any further, I do want to be clear, I do not have a financial background of any kind. I am not offering financial advice, and you should not buy or sell anything because of anything that I say or write. I'm just an enthusiast who enjoys making YouTube videos about crypto topics, but just as a hobby and just for fun. Market's looking green today. Nobody out there has a case of the Mondays, right? XRP's at 60 cents, Bitcoin at $38,514. Market cap for the asset class 1.78 trillion, and Bitcoin dominance at 40.92%. And I'm looking forward to seeing the Crypto Fear and Greed Index update, which is going to occur in a little over 6 hours. But right now, it's at 20 out of 100, indicating the typical retail speculator is in extreme fear because reasons. But with prices moving up, at least at the time I'm recording this, if this persists, won't be surprised to see that higher to some degree once it updates, because again, it only updates once every 24 hours. And then there's this tweet from Peter Brandt, who is a very well-known analyst within the crypto space. Popular for a number of reasons, including the fact that he called the top of the Bitcoin bubble last market cycle close to $20,000, and he also called the very bottom at which was on, I believe, to the day. I could be mistaken, I have to look it up, but I think he called it to the day, which was December 15th, 2018. That was the bottom of the Bitcoin bear market, where Bitcoin was around somewhere in the neighborhood of $3,200. Happens to have been one day after I launched the Moon Lambeau YouTube channel. How about that? Starting the channel at the bottom of the bear market, coincidentally. But anyway, here's what Peter Brandt tweeted out. And this, this resonated with me. Check this out. He wrote, "I find it fascinating that many, not all, on social media who wore laser eyes in March/April and predicted a rocket shot for Bitcoin in November now are predicting that the $30,000 price level will be violated. When bulls wear laser eyes, time to sell. When bulls become bears, time to buy? Question mark? 4 question marks, in fact." And so that's what he shared with his 618,000 followers. And this is a concept that I've talked about before. Many in the space have. And nothing against anybody that did the laser eyes thing. I'm sure a bunch of you listening did the laser eyes thing. I happen to have not have, but I was never against it. In fact, I just thought, hey, it's a fun thing community can participate in. But and even though I think it's just a fun thing and I'm actually all for it, the only warning that I had associated with it was that there were a lot of people new to crypto just feeling the emotional highs of all of this, and that's why they were slapping laser eyes on their Twitter profiles, and they didn't understand the nature of market cycles and how things can flip on a moment's notice. And so a lot of people really ended up eating it as a result of that. And so when we had the euphoria, or almost a year ago anyway, with the laser eyes, there were warnings. And then we did enter a very not so fun era in summer of 2021, where Bitcoin went from whatever the high was at the time, 65,000, whatever it was, down to a little below $30,000. And then, of course, back up. But this is the nature of crypto. It's not that this is necessarily surprising. So given that those bulls are just feeling, they feel whatever direction the market's going in, they feel like it's going to do that forever. It's ridiculous. It's illogical, but that's how humans feel. That's how they behave. They behave based on their emotions anyway. And they sell. So given that these bulls have become bears, is it a time to buy? Well, I'm not telling you to buy or sell anything, to be super duper clear. I do not offer financial advice on this channel, and I never will. Just in a general sense, when markets are down like this, it's typically a better time to buy than when there's laser eyes everywhere. Just worth pointing out. Now, here is the analyst that I was referencing in the beginning of this video. It's none other than Alessio Rastani. And I've highlighted his work on my channel a number of times over the last year. I first came across him probably a little bit over a year ago. And he's fantastic. He just doesn't post that much. Like on YouTube, it's not uncommon for him to only post like, I don't know, 4 or 5 videos a month. Sometimes it can be a little bit more, but it's not a ton, so you're not like getting daily updates from the guy. But when he does put stuff out, people are clamoring to get his perspective on what's going on in the markets. And so he does, like I said, he doesn't post that much. And when he does, it's not always about crypto. And when he does post about crypto, it's almost never about XRP. But a couple days ago, he did put out a video about XRP, 15 minutes, 51 seconds long. It's the one right here. So feel free to check this out if you want to. Again, I will provide a link below in the description here. But he's got quite the following here. You can see 354,000 subscribers. And even a year ago, after all of the... it's worth knowing this. After all of the nonsense, the SEC going after Ripple, well, everybody was panicking, and there were all sorts of, especially Bitcoin maxi trolls, XRP haters, that were saying XRP was going to go to zero. He was saying, no, more probable than not, you're actually going to see a shot to the upside. And so those bigger numbers that did occur in April, he was leaning more towards that side, and he ended up being absolutely correct. And so in times of fear, he had a level head and said, well, that's not what the charts are telling me in terms of probability. And another thing I really like about this guy is he shares something that I've been saying for years on this channel, which is that when it comes to technical analysis, it's not about certainty, it's about probability of outcomes. And so no, even if you're the best analyst on the entire planet, what you think is probable will not occur. Sometimes what is improbable will occur, and that's just the nature of things. That's just how it goes. And so he recognizes that and highlights that and does a good job articulating that to his audience. So kudos where it's due. But I'll just give a quick synopsis of what he had to say. And it's mostly good. Some of you might be irritated by the timeline a little bit, but he's just giving his honest opinion. And so basically what he said is that, look, in order for him to have confidence in a parabolic XRP bull run, he needs to see XRP not dip below 43 cents. Now, if XRP does dip below that level, then his bullish analysis is invalidated. Toss it out, no longer applies. If XRP dips below 43 cents. Now, he does not believe such a scenario is likely, but nonetheless, he emphasizes the degree to which this is a crucial level to hold. In fact, over the course of the almost 16-minute video, he references that probably like 4 or 5 times. He really wanted to hammer that point home. He doesn't think it's going to happen, but it's a crucial level to hold. He also noted that if XRP hits at least 80 cents in the short term, that it will increase the odds of his bullish expectations coming to fruition over the mid to long term. And if things go as anticipated, he expects XRP to hit $8.70, but perhaps not as quickly as many of you would like. He thinks that price level would most probably be hit in maybe the middle of 2023. So look, here's the deal. In terms of the timeline, that's a tough thing to even ballpark. It is clear that market cycles are lengthening to whatever degree. I mean, I think it's pretty clear. I've not really seen people dispute that at this point, because where's altcoin mania? It's been over 4 years. Where's altcoin mania? You know, we're about to enter February of 2022. There's no altcoin mania yet. So, you know, I don't see people disputing it at this point. So I don't know how long this thing's going to get stretched out. That seems like a really, really long time. You're talking about, you know, within the next year and a half from this point. I mean, look, whatever it takes, I'll say this just for myself, even if it does take that long, I am going to be here. I will have my exposure. I have placed my bet. My bet was that at some unknown point in the future, after the XRP bubble popped at the beginning of 2018, that there would be a new all-time high at some point in the future, and that we'd then enter price discovery. So I'm not going to get impatient because it doesn't do what I want it to do, because that's what the little crybaby children do. But I want my Lambo now. I want now. See, no. Moon Lambo not doing that stuff. I will be as patient as it requires. And if I'm wrong about all this and XRP goes to zero, then so be it. This is the bet that I placed, and I am firm on that. And I don't feel impatient. To be clear, I know maybe this is rare. I don't know. I haven't seen data on this, but I'll just tell you, I personally am not the least bit impatient. I'm not sick of holding XRP. I'm not tired of it. I'm just like, yeah, this is what I was expecting, more or less. And that's because, again, I didn't know what the timeline would be. Just when I placed my bet in 2018, I was just like, okay, don't know how long it's going to take. I'm just going to hold and it's fine. I was thinking maybe it's 5 or 10 years. I was even saying that to myself back in 2017, actually. I was even saying that in 2017. I was like, well, maybe 5 or 10 years from now, it could be worth like a crazy amount of money. So I set myself up with that type of expectation, because even with the stock market, if you're talking about 10 years, I mean, yeah, stock market's not nearly as enticing as crypto, but even then you'd expect in 7 to 10 years to double your money. So I'm sitting here thinking, well, it's crypto. So, 5 to 10 years, what's that going to mean for my crypto? Like, it's going to be okay. So I just don't get impatient. I don't get tired of it. I don't get sick of it. I don't have any regrets over this. I'm being an adult about it, and just waiting. Whatever it takes, that's perfectly fine. So again, hopefully it comes sooner than 2023. I'm just sharing with you what he had. I'm just the messenger here. Now, however, he does note if XRP bursts through that price level of $8.70, Alessio says that he doesn't believe there is any major resistance until $28. And in terms of timeline, if that is to happen, and he's not convinced that it will happen, but if it happens and it's on the table, there's a chance. He thinks that it would occur by the end of 2023. So if you're talking about that type of burst, wouldn't that be worth the wait? I mean, you're talking about less than... Because look at it. Yeah, yes, we'd love to have our money now. Fine. But if we could know that XRP were going to hit that level, $28 in less than 2 years, could you be patient? Like, for me, the clear answer is yes. Even if it doesn't hit that level, for me, the answer is yes. I think it's going to hit its all-time high at some point in the future. I don't know for sure. I am very optimistic and confident that it will, and there, my bet is placed. Now, so anyway, he's fantastic. But again, if you want his full analysis, I will go ahead and put the link below. Moving on now, here's a tweet from the blockchain backer. And for those of you that want to look, he did have a chart that shared. I made it full screen for you here. And this is from this morning. He wrote, if time matters, and if this thing continues, we've made it to the final part. And this is a Bitcoin USD price chart. And so he's overlaid a fractal from a previous run from a few years back. And so you can see where he put this arrow. This is where we are at right now. And to this point, it's followed this approach pretty damn closely. Like, you can't deny. This is very samey. And so he's pointing out here, if it's to follow, it does look like there's going to be another move to the downside. And if you look at these price levels, it does look like it would hold above $30,000 if this ends up playing out, and it's an if. But then it does move to the upside further. So just interesting. So you just wanted to point it out. And somebody else named Altcoin Johnny, shared this tweet. And there's another chart on your screen, full screen. And he wrote, for anyone who is interested in the source of the fractal. So here's the timeline for what he overlaid. It's from May 3rd, 2018 through July 25th of 2018. So that's what this is, where I'm circling right here. And now I'll go back one more time to blockchain backers chart. And you can see that's what he overlaid. So this line that's nothing but the color green, that's what's overlaid here. So we shall see. There may be one more dip to the downside. And honestly, there are a lot of people that do think we are going to see one more dip before a massive move to the upside. And again, it doesn't make sense from a logical perspective to feel emotions over this. Volatility is a known factor. It's to be expected. It's what makes asymmetrical, life-changing wealth possible, investing in crypto. So when it goes to the downside, it to me just doesn't make logical sense to feel stuff. Just giving you a warning, though. Don't know if it's going to happen, but in case it does, take a look at this headline from the Daily Hodl. Top analyst predicts ultimate capitulation for Bitcoin and Ethereum before bullish reversal. And I'm just going to talk about the portion that has to do with Bitcoin in this article. A closely followed crypto analyst says that an ultimate capitulation could be approaching for Bitcoin and Ethereum before any meaningful reversal takes place. The pseudonymous analyst, known as Capo, tells his 239,000 Twitter followers that while Bitcoin has shown some resilience in the last week, a final downward movement below $30,000 remains his base case. Sorry, guys. According to Capo, Bitcoin briefly dipping below $30,000 is likely, but traders should be prepared for something much more extreme. He references the capitulation in March 2020 when most Bitcoin bulls underestimated the bullish collapse. And this is true. Sometimes there's expectations can be insufficient, let's say. There weren't many that were expecting the March 2020 collapse, but I will say that was triggered by a global event. There was the pandemic, and in that particular case, it seems very, very clear that the crypto asset class was just mirroring directionally what equities were doing, frankly. Anyway, so here's a quote from him, though. "This would be the ultimate capitulation candle. Main scenario remains $28,000 to $30,000, but if there are enough liquidations, we could expect the wick going much lower. Be careful, I'm ready for anything." Now that price range did catch my attention because Leb Crypto, I'm pretty sure, I didn't double check before recording, but I'm pretty damn sure Leb Crypto, another chart analyst, was highlighting that exact same level, $28,000 to $30,000, if I'm not mistaken. So he does think that there's another analyst that will thinks there will be another dip below $30,000. So if it happens, it happens. Crypto's been trending up for 13 years. I don't think it's going to stop that because it's trended that way despite over 80% pullbacks for Bitcoin. For altcoins, sometimes 99% pullbacks, literally, and then they burst on back. Not that I think all the cryptocurrencies, the altcoins that exist, should be here, but we've been trending up that way for a long time. And even when the market gets flushed out and level heads prevail and the market matures, those cryptocurrencies that solve real problems for real people, I do believe they'll survive. And that's why I always look back to the dot-com boom and bust to look at human behavior. How did the humans behave 20 years ago? The same that they're behaving right now because it's the same human DNA in them. It's just, there's even more of a frenzy around this. So you could say it's a bit amplified. It's fine. Okay, cool. But it's the same human DNA. So what happens? Eventually level heads prevail and people figure out where money deserves to be dispatched, and it goes there. That's the reason that Amazon stock dropped over 90%, and then it blew up like how many thousands of percent? I don't even remember what the number is off the top of my head over the course of the next 20 years. It's crazy. Life-changing wealth for all those people that invested there. So like the opportunity is there, but you just have to understand these things. That's all that I'm saying right now. So I guess I'll go ahead and wrap up there. That's pretty much it. But I'll tell you, whatever happens, I don't feel the feels. I used to, okay? I'm not ashamed to admit that because I'm a human too. Like I used to feel negative emotions when the price went down, but I'm just telling you, eventually I did allow my logical understanding of what's happening in the space to override that. And so, and I will honestly tell you, and I've said this before actually, the last time I felt emotion when XRP or crypto went down, it was in August of 2018. There was a final moment because I had been dollar cost averaging in from after the bubble burst from XRP at 55 cents, then 50 cents, and 45 and 40, all the way down to about 25 cents. And then at that point, I was like, my gosh, I just had an emotional response. Will this thing ever stop? Oh my gosh. And then for some reason, I don't know for sure why, but I just sat myself down and I was like, Matt, you knew this was going to do this. This has been your plan from the beginning. You know that you're in a corrective move that could go on for a number of years. Your dollar cost averaging in, and I let the logic of it all just take over. And I never felt emotions in response to any crypto price swings ever again after that. It just worked for me. It's over. And think I was here when XRP was down to 11 cents, and my response was like, okay. Like, whatever, dude. And then, what do you know? Was that the right logical attitude to have? Well, I'd argue yes, because a year later it ran up to $2. Okay, so the fact that it's hovering around 60 cents right now doesn't bother me. I'm just waiting for that big final move, and however long it takes, I'm going to be here, period. And when we enter a bear market, I'm still going to be here, period, because I'm going to be doing the same thing over again and buying everybody else's fear, and then I'll be down or at about parity in my investments for a number of years, probably mostly down for a span of years, and I'll just look like the, oh my god, my stupid Moon Lambo investments in crypto are going down, just like happened this past market cycle, and then the money's going to flow back in. That's what I'm anticipating. So I'm going to be here, period, because it's too much of an opportunity for life-changing wealth, and I understand the human psychology behind it, and there we go. So I'm very curious, though, as to when we're going to see a flushing out of all these crap projects which do effectively nothing. When are we going to have that come to Jesus moment? And that's something I don't know. But that's going to affect my behavior and everybody else's behavior, because when that happens, I'll no longer be investing in cryptocurrencies that don't offer utility. Now, I don't think we're going to see a flushing out like that until after we see true capitulation, like I'm talking a complete bubble inflation and then pop during the bear market that follows. That would be the first opportunity, I think anyway, for there to be flushing out of the system, because prior to that, there is no incentive for people to change their ridiculous, irrational buying behavior. There's no incentive. But when you have another moment like that where there's true capitulation over 80 or 90% drawdowns in cryptos, that'll be another opportunity for that to happen. So I don't know for sure if we're going to have the flushing out next market cycle. There are a lot of people that thought it was going to happen after this last bubble burst several years ago. I was never completely convinced of that. And then as we were approaching the bottom, I was like, folks, I don't see humans behaving dramatically different. I see money going and being it's invested in all sorts of stupid ways. I'm not convinced. And what do you know? Everything inflated again, and now we have over 17,000 cryptocurrencies in existence. So it is what it is. I'm not a financial advisor. You should not buy or sell anything because of anything that I say or write. That would be a very, very, very bad idea. Until next time, to the moon, Lambo.